Welcome to the fourth video about the 5 pillars to your true happiness. Please make sure you've watched the videos in order on the playlist. It really works a lot better for you that way. Let's dive straight into what you're avoiding to be happy. This is the most insidious obstacle to your happiness. A lot of personal development gurus miss this one, and it can be a real roadblock for a lot of people. I see it all the time in my clients. This pillar is really important. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about acceptance. I'll start with what it's not. It is not resisting what is already there. It's actually more subtle than it looks, so I'll go into it more, but let's start with some examples. I'll start with a client I had who had a lot of anxieties linked to some early life trauma that she had. At the time, her life was going pretty well, but she was pretty perplexed and also a little bit angry that she had all this stress, even though things were going quite well at the time. She was having a really hard time being with what was already there. So what about you? Hit the like button if there's something in your life that you're having trouble being with, so I know to follow up on that. In the recent context of the whole COVID-19 pandemic, I heard a lot of people referring to injustice when they were referring to some of the implications that this whole thing had. It's not fair. And usually in that it's not fair, there's actually some resistance. Yeah, resisting to what's already there, and with an undertone of, it really shouldn't be that way. Whenever you think that something shouldn't be the way that it is, you're actually resisting. And I don't know where that contract is that we would have signed before we were born that said that we wouldn't have any problems in our life. And yet it's quite common for people, and I've done it too, to behave as though there would be such a contract. So what about you? What are some of the things that you think should not be happening? And as a third example, I'll take some events from my own life where I was able to practice acceptance quite well. I'm an only child, and I lost both my parents at the end of 2 very demanding years in 2018 and 2019, 9 months apart. So in 2020, naturally, I experienced a pretty strong backlash and a lot of deep grief. And a lot of well-meaning people would make suggestions essentially to distract me from it all. But I knew intuitively that the shortest and also healthiest way through was not in avoiding anything that was going on, but actually in diving deep into the experiences that I was having. And now that I'm through it, I can honestly say that it worked. So what about you? What are some of the difficult experiences in your life that you are already able to be with? Please share in the comments, also so that I can support you. So acceptance, it's a little bit subtle, and people often get confused about it. If something bad or something we don't like happens, of course we don't want to accept it. But until you accept that things that are already there are the way they are, there's actually no chance of changing them. Have you tried? I do want to clarify that I don't mean that you should just accept anything and just be with it passively. No, absolutely. If there's something in your life that you don't like, by all means change it. But there's a preliminary step, which is taking what's already there as it is, without clenching our jaw or tensing our muscles, and certainly without ranting that things shouldn't be the way that they are. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Sonia Weyers, your happiness guide and Gestalt therapist. And in this channel, I help women in midlife who care deeply about their relationships, but there's conflict, tension, or stress. I help them to find more moments of true connection. So why is acceptance so important? We're still with that locked door. Well, if the door is locked and you don't accept that, you're going to keep yanking at the handle. And then the likely thing to happen is that you're going to have a broken handle in addition to everything else. In a bit, I'm going to offer you a really cool gift, so bear with me. Do you see how the pillars are starting to build on one another? And we talked about what they are and why they're so important, but there's a lot more to say about the how of these pillars, especially for you individually. And that's what I do with my peeps in the Experience Your True Happiness Haven. And so now I'd like to talk to you about that. The Haven is a warm, supportive, empowering place where we go deep on 5 main areas with a whole lot of support. It's structured in 5 modules, just like there are 5 pillars. So module 1 is about openness. In the first video, we talked about what openness is, you remember? About being open to trying new behaviors, open to imagining a future that's different, in a nutshell, being open to change. We also talked about why openness is important and how trying to be happy without openness is a little bit like trying to open a locked door without the key. And in module 1, we go deeper into the how of openness for you personally. Module 2 is introspection. So in the second video, we talked about what introspection is, remember? Looking inside yourselves to find your own truths. And why introspection is important is that looking for solutions on the outside is a little bit like giving the key to our locked door to someone else. So in module 2, we roll up our sleeves and we look at your life, at what works, what doesn't, and how to get more of what works in service of your goals and finding your true happiness. Module 3 is clarity. Remember the third pillar? The what of clarity is knowing more about what our true happiness looks and feels like. First, so that we can recognize it if we happen to bump into it on the street, but also so that we can create circumstances that will facilitate it. And why is clarity so important in terms of that locked door? Well, how do you hope to open that door if you don't know what house it's on? This module will leave you with a clear view of where you are and where you want to go in terms of your true happiness. This is huge. Module 4 is acceptance. We just talked about what acceptance is, learning to be with what is. And why it's so important is that if you don't accept that the door is locked, you're going to keep yanking at the handle, and what you're going to achieve is that the handle will be broken on top of everything else. So in this module, we will check for gremlins, resistance, and any other barriers to your true happiness. I've seen it too often, including in myself. The path is right there, and suddenly an unexpected obstacle appears. That's the resistance. Module 5 is experience. I'll talk about it more in the next video, but it's basically all about experimenting with things so that you find those that work for you personally after the benefit of the first 4 modules. The Haven is really a personalized experience, even though it's happening in a group format. We will have 2 group calls together every month where you can bring your struggles and your wins so that you can feel support from me, but also from a handpicked group of peers in the program. We will also have a private Facebook group where a lot of the interactions will happen, where I will provide a lot of support and you can also support one another in finally experiencing your true happiness. Because we're taking the time to make sure that you're open, to look inside, to make sure that we have clarity, and also that you can be in agreement with what has come up. Because of all that, we can trust that the plan that we've come up with is the right plan for you. That is my promise to you. Now, with all these things, this would be worth more than 11,000 euros and even more dollars. But for you watching this video, the price is 3,997 euros. The link is in the description to this video, but I'd like to tell you about the bonuses that you get before I give you the activity and the gift that you can receive from this video already. You'll get a signed copy of my book, Happiness Now, A Guided Journey. You'll get a spot in my program, Get Your Future Off to a Great Start. It's in my web shop for 397 euros. Now be careful because this program is live and I offer it only a few times a year. So hurry and get on the wait list. And also, whether you did the activities or not during these 5 videos, you'll receive all the gifts from these 5 videos as well. And if you pay in full, you'll also receive 5 one-on-one calls with me, 1 per module, and this alone is worth 750 euros. The link is in the description, but if you have any questions, Do let me know in the comments how I can get in touch with you, because I really want to answer all your questions. Okay, so now the gift. Now I'm offering you an opportunity to win a one-on-one call with me for 30 minutes on Zoom. So you find something in your environment that represents acceptance for you. You take a photo of it and you email it to me. My email is still in the About section of my channel. And when I receive your email, I'll send you an email so that we can schedule that call. So the last video is about experiencing, so watch that one next. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my tips about finding more moments of true connection in your life.